I'm starting to think that there are too many hot comic books. Just kidding. Let's jump into it. Another week, another list, even more record breakers to discuss. We got Comic Butch in the house. Hit the like and slap the subscribe button. You know we got a giveaway on deck, and I'm at the table virtually broadcasting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth with the leader of the Gempire, Gem from Gem and Collectibles. How you feeling, my brother?
I'm feeling great, Tom, just like Jessica Jones fans must be when they heard that we're going to be getting the character back in the MCU via Disney+. Are we going to get the Netflix series, or are we going to get something new? Either way, it's propelling her first appearance in Alias 1 to hit number 10 on our top 10 honorable mentions.
Is it just the Netflix acquisition, or could we be lucky enough to see a reprisal of more Defenders? We're already hearing rumors as early as a appearance that could be featured in She-Hulk of Kirsten Ritter and Mike Coulter of Jessica Jones and Luke Cage fame. Alias #1, we chatted about last week for completely different reasons, because last year had a high sale of $500 for a 9.8, but a low sale of $150. So when we saw a 9.8 creep back up to $450, we thought it worth mentioning on the mic. And here we are today talking about an 8.5, last selling in 2020 for $100, now selling for an increase of 25% at $125. Just shy of $25 under the 9.8 low.
And the ladies are on the list today. Coming in at number 9, we have Tales of Suspense 53, the second appearance of Black Widow, and the origin of the Watcher.
We call that a double key, debuting in 1964. But before we get to the numbers on this book, let's take it back an issue to her first appearance in issue 52, so we can see what the second appearance may go for long term. We had a 9.4 back in March, hit $29,500. We had a 6.5 sale, hit its highest it has ever gotten in 2021, landing at $2,650, and a recent sale for the same grade drop to $1,900. Well, same grade, but the next book at issue 53, the second appearance, hit $325 back in June, and that's up 22%, an increase of $70, now selling for $395. You have to keep an eye out on those second appearances, especially if those first appearances are too pricey.
That's right, and still a big gap from issue 52 to 53. Moving on to number 8 on the list, we have Uncanny X-Men, issue 133. We're going back to the 80s here, and not only is this part 5 of the Dark Phoenix saga, another shout out to the ladies on the list, but it's the first solo Wolverine cover.
This is where we get the confirmation about Logan's healing power. It was first mentioned in issue 116 after Wolverine gets injured. He gets bit by, I think it was like a saber tooth or something of the like, and he brushes it off and says, no, I tend to heal rather quickly. Well, it's in this issue where it gets put out to the forefront that, this character has a superhuman ability, a mutant ability. And this has always been far undervalued than it should be. A 9.2 selling in March for $327 is up 22%, now selling for $400. I suspect that it's because of the inevitable introduction of the mutant spec that started with Professor X's appearance in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
And you know what? I'm digging it. The first solo cover with the first appearances and cameos being so far out of reach, this is a good buy.
Now, this is a little over $70 uptick in price, and that may not sound huge, but take a look at the higher grades to see where the lower grades can end up. Back in January, a 9.8 hit $1,100. Back in March, it skyrocketed to $1,800. This May, it hit $1,500. So yes, it dropped since its height, but it's still well above the January height. I think this book is prime for putting money down on.
Moving on to number 7 on the list, we have a classic Doctor Doom cover. Not Fantastic Four Annual 2 that we had on our Hot 10, but we got Marvel's Superheroes 20 with Doctor Doom yelling to the sky.
Debuting in 1969, this is a solo story featuring Doctor Doom, a iconic classic cover by Larry Lieber, and a 4.0 that broke records, last selling back in 2021 for $310, up 25%, now selling for $389. The Reed Richards effect?
Fans have been clamoring for some type of Fantastic Four something since they got the rights back, and we got Reed Richards. We got John Krasinski, the famous fan casting, so definitely the Reed Richards effect. Moving on to number 6, we're going to go to DC with Batman The Dark Knight Returns, issue 2, which is actually a first appearance.
That's right, Frank Miller Goodness, the mutant leader and the mutant team being introduced in the narrative. This right here was a newsstand copy, however, and it was a 9.8. Last week hitting $475. Jem, hit him with that record breaker.
You know what's up 34%, selling for an all-time new high of $638.
If you enjoyed this list, these 10 record breakers that didn't have enough sales to land on our Hot 10 were compiled of a list that's as much as double the amount on the best app to learn about comic books, to keep up with the industry, Key Collector Comics. We source the 10 runners-up books from a list of over 20 plus called the runners-up list on the app. See what other books broke records. It's going to help you on your spec, and the app itself is going to help you learn so much more about funny books, catalog your comics, get suggested pricing, and so much more. At the list at number 5, Green Lantern #1 from 1960.
I'm going to go ahead and call this a quadruple key. Not only is it the first Hal Jordan Green Lantern ongoing series, it's the first appearance of the Puppet Master, the first appearance of the Guardians of the Universe, and the first appearance of the planet Oa.
The headquarters of the Green Lantern Corps, we have a 3.5 back in March going for $1,425. The record was shattered, up 23%, now selling for $1,750. That January 2022 CGC 9.8 sale definitely assisted with this. The trickle-down effect was real, and that record breaker, I'll remind the community, broke 10K for the first time ever, landing at $10,800.
Green Lantern 1 is always going to be a sought-after book. It's the next best thing after his first appearance in Showcase 22, but I think fans are really gearing up for the HBO Max Green Lantern Corps series that we haven't had any updates on recently.
At the list at number 4, we told you that DC Comics were primed for speculating on. Well, we're going to prove it again here with Adventure Comics 247 debuting in 1958. This is the first team appearance and origin of the Legion of Superheroes.
This book doesn't come up too often. In December of 2021, we had a CGC 7.5 hit 13,150. It wouldn't be until the next month, January of 2022, that we had the next highest grade sale, a 5.5, which came to market and sold for $5,760.
Now, if you can't afford the $5,000 book or the $10,000 plus, look at the 0.5. We haven't seen this hit the market since 2010, selling for $140, up 257% this week, now selling for an easy $500.
Moving on to number 3 on the list, we have Fantastic Four issue 72. Not only does the read effect impact Doctor Doom books, it'll impact Kang the Conqueror books and Silver Surfer. This one is just a classic Jack Kirby cover, and that's why it's spiking.
Debuting in 1968, we were just chatting about Galactus's first full appearance at number 2 on the Hot 10 last week. Well, this book is just a classic Kirby cover. Some books that you got to spec on because the other key books are blowing up so quick that this is the next best thing. A 9.4 back in 2019 hit $1,200. It's up almost $500, an increase of 40%, landing at $1,620.
Zooming our way on over to number 2 on the list, we have The Flash with more DC Comics love. We're talking about issue 139, the first appearance of Professor Zoom.
Eobarthon, the Reverse Flash. And get this, we have an 8.5 record breaker that sold for the same amount this month as an 8.5. Prior record being set in 2021 for the 8.5 of $1,900, an increase of 39%, selling for $2,640, plus a grade point less, selling for the same amount. Hot damn, comic fan.
Tom, before we get into number 1, hit him with that Kang the Conqueror cover.
Happily, New Fantastic Four issue number 1, Alex Maleev cover of Kang the Conqueror, going in 1 per box in the June mystery mail call. ComicTom101.com to join the community. Support the show directly. Hit the link in the description. And at the list at number 1, more subby spec is off the chain. Specifically, one of his earliest partial origin stories back in the Golden Age in Submariner issue number 37.
We had Submariner hit number 1 on our Hot 10. Subby's back for the honorable mentions. Can't wait till we get them Fantastic Four issue 4 sales, but this will do for now.
The highest grade of this book to hit publicly was an 8.0 back in 2020, and that sold for $1,440. We have a 7.0, which is nearly matching that sale. And this book is outstanding. It's a very quick story that takes place when Submariner was just 12 years old, and his mother gets trapped under the water with like a piece of the ship that is trapping her legs, and he has to learn about his superhuman strength in the moment to overcome where he thought he would fail. It's very similar to Peter Parker in the ASM run, learning how to be his own superhero, but also having the courage and to triumph over the moment, regardless of whatever negativity he was feeling and failure he was fearing. We have a 7.0 back in March going for 721, up 122%. Jem, hit him with the record breaker.
That yellow Golden Age cover just sold for $1,600.
An increase of over $850 for a Golden Age book most people don't know about. Hot damn. Comic fam, comment down below. What do you think about this list? It'll enter you to win this Omni-Man Invincible #1 Tyler Kirkham variant. And as always,
Geek responsibly and stay minty fresh.
Nothing said. Comic fam, join myself and all my homies on the best new app to buy and sell collectibles, whatnot. Every single Wednesday, we pack the house starting at 2 o'clock.
It's your boy Jem
with Jem Mint from Jem Mint Collectibles, and go clear past 9 p.m., ending with the very talented Nate Johnson. Join us for dollar start auctions that last as little as 15 seconds long. We're bringing the keys, the giveaways, and so much more. We also have 2 other videos for you to check out. Enjoy them. We made them for you.